Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman. I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source. We help contractors build great teams. My guest today is Mitch from Protecto Wrap, right? So, Mitch, tell me what Protecto Wrap does, why it's different than other things out there, and why people should use it.
Okay, thank you, Paul, for having me on the show. Protecto Wrap Company is a manufacturer based in Denver, Colorado, and we have been making waterproofing products for 73 years. And everything is made at our plant and headquarters in Denver, Colorado. We're proud of it having a made in USA product or products. At Protecto Wrap, we have products that are all self-adhered, peel and stick, if you will, for the waterproofing industry, whether it is below grade or above grade around windows and doors or under your roofing products. We have solutions for all of those situations, and we try to keep Mother Nature out of your projects.
Okay. Now, how does Protecto Wrap differ from the competition?
We have many competitors that have both self-adhered products and mechanically attached products, or with staples or nails or whatever. We all try to do the same accomplishment of keeping the moisture out of a building while also let the building breathe. And I'm not here to tell you that whose product is better than anybody else's. There are many solutions and many things that can work with my products and the competitors' products.
So, how does like Protector Wrap, what's the physics behind Protector Wrap? How does it actually, keep water out and air in, and how does that actually work?
So the industry has many different methods and different types of adhesives. I'm talking about the self-adhered peel and stick side of it, which is where we play in. And there are different types of adhesives which have different qualities. There's what we call rubberized asphalt or modified asphalt adhesives on the back of the flashing products and waterproofing products. We have those. We have products that also have butyl adhesives, which is a higher quality adhesive that has better adhesion, higher temperature resistance, and compatibility with just about anything out there. And we also have products that have adhesion with a synthetic butyl or a block copolymer adhesive on the back, which again is high temp qualities and compatibility with just about everything out there. So we cover the whole gamut of self-adhered adhesives with our flashings and waterproofings. We are different because we have every product that we make has 250 degrees in service temperature ratings, and we have true high temp products that go to 300 degrees, where most of our competition, if not all of it, kind of call 240, 250 degrees high temp. A lot of the markets, especially Paul, where you live and where I live, it's hot out there, in the desert and
Mhm.
that, and many times the temperatures outside will heat up the substrates and heat up the products that are over flashings and waterproofings to temperatures that are well above 200 degrees and sometimes pushing 300 degrees. And we feel we have solutions for those high temperature situations.
Now, you've been doing this a long time. Where do you think contractors make their biggest mistakes in using your product? They use it wrong or differently, or if you're going to talk to a contractor, say, met a guy in an airport, and you said, "Yeah, I've used this stuff, had some issues with these other kind of things." What advice would you give him? I'm sure you've seen contractors make mistakes, right?
Absolutely. Great question, Paul. Because we're a self-adhered product, the substrate, the plywood, or whatever it is, concrete or OSB or a fiberglass product needs to be clean and dry as much as possible. When we talk about projects and when I specify projects with architects and consultants, we promote primers. To us, primers are integral in making products stick better. We're in the peel and stick industry. It needs to stick. The other part of
Right.
the equation, which is important, is to make sure the products are rolled into place. Any peel and stick product needs to have pressure when applied. It's okay to use your hand and to wipe the material in place to get it ready to receive a roller or a spatula to put pressure on it. But what we find failures are either where they're not using primer or the substrate is not clean or they're not using pressure to apply the product.
Okay. So, how does one make sure they do that? I mean, let's say I'm a contractor, and how do I make sure my subcontractors or my employees actually follow the directions?
Well, with the primer, you should be able to see some primer that's beyond where the flashing product is going to go. You'll have a color of a primer that's dried and you can inspect it and see they used primer or they didn't. Number one. Number two, it's difficult to tell if they've rolled it in place or applied pressure unless somebody is there inspecting the project or sees somebody doing it. So it's hard afterwards to find the pressure application, but certainly it's pretty easy to see if primer was used.
Okay. So, how do you, when you're working with contractors, do they take a video? I mean, how do they make sure that they did it right? Because I'm sure you've been in situations where there's finger pointing, the product fails, but they didn't put it on right, and they go, "It's your fault." We go, "Yeah, I'm sure that happens, right? That happens in construction all the time." So, how does a contractor pretty much assure, "Yeah, we did it the way it was supposed to be done"?
Well, that happens often, and on residential applications and additions and things like that, it is hard to ensure that because many of the contractors out there don't use primer. They want to do it as least expensive way as they can. Thankfully, at Protector Wrap, our products have the best adhesion in the industry, so we can probably get away with that in some instances. I'd
Mhm.
rather see primer in every job.
Right.
Um, but as far as going back to an issue that may have arisen from something that was possibly not installed properly, it's hard to derive that. On commercial projects, whether it's multifamily, apartment buildings, or high rises, typically there's inspectors on the jobs daily that have logs and that.
Mhm.
So that's pretty easy to do on a commercial side. Residentially, it's difficult unless we can assess things afterwards pretty quickly
Mhm.
and take a look at what's gone on.
Now, do you offer any kind of instruction for contractors, whether it's video or in person or whatever, on how to apply and make sure they do it right?
Absolutely. We have videos, installation videos on our website and as well as on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Um, all of our distributors are quite entrenched with contractors. We have distribution throughout North America that is involved with waterproofing contractors directly on a wholesale basis, roofing contractors directly on a wholesale basis. And we also have a vast network of lumber yards and those types of people that stock our products through our other type of distribution network that supplies the small dealer and the lumber yards. And typically those dealers and lumber yards are pretty good at making sure their contractors know what they're doing. We have instructions on all of our rolls and all of our boxes, and we have our website on there too. But it's hard, as you know, Paul, to really police what goes on out
Right.
there. Um, most of the complaints we get really are not so much with if somebody rolled a product or used primer. Most of the complaints in the industry, not just Protector Wrap, are we have incompatibility issues where somebody incorporated a sealant that's maybe not ours, it's somebody else's sealant, or it's touching another product that's not compatible with it, and you'll see dripping and oozing. And typically, when I get that complaint or get that call, it's invariably 99% of the time somebody has probably used a sealant that is attacking the product, and more than likely it's a rubberized asphalt, recipe modified, self-adhered product that comes in contact with a urethane sealant that has solvents in it. And this will happen fairly quickly, probably the same day, as long as the temperatures are 50 degrees and above. And in that case, we've got to make sure that they use the proper sealant or the proper product that can take compatibility of anybody's sealant. We'd
Now,
like them to see our sealant.
is there any kind of test or, you can give your guys some kind of a test or something that says they didn't read the instructions, they know what they're doing? Is there any way to test for that, like a written test or something?
I don't know about a written test. There are pull tests available out there that a lot of consultants or inspectors will have the machinery and the instruments to do pull
Mhm.
tests for proper adhesion. Um, Knowing that these pull tests are disruptive and destructive to the
Right,
application because they're taking a portion of something that was
right,
installed and then they check the pull test to see if it meets the AS10
right,
requirements. And if it does not, then we have to address why. And if it
right,
does, that product has to be repaired at that point
right,
too.
right. So there is, I'm sure there's some way, because I'm thinking in applying anything like this, contractors try to follow the instructions, but not everybody follows the instructions. So I would say, in your case, what advice would you give to contractors that are using your product that when they have people, they're in the field doing it, that either, make sure they sort of know what they're doing or follow the instructions? Is there any way to help them learn that?
Certainly myself or my independent sales reps crews that are all over the country for different regions and the distributors, most of our professional distributors have people to guide them on their first project. We'll do trainings at the contractor's office many times. We like to do that because they want it done right. They don't want to
Right.
leave the job and have worries and get dragged into a lawsuit.
Right.
Neither do we or anybody. So if they're instructed in how to install products correctly, they're going to have very little problems, whether it's our product or anybody else's. So we like to meet with them and find out who the distributor is selling these products to so we can make sure that they're astute enough to know how to install products like this. So we
Well,
try
I
to
guess
nip that in the beginning.
the short answer is if you're using these kind of products, make sure you take advantage of the training that's available and how to apply them, right?
That is the short and bold answer. Yes.
Okay, because if people don't do that, they go, "Well, I never learned how to do it, and then it failed." Well, it's the contractor's obligation to teach his team how to do the job, right?
Absolutely. And we like to be involved with that as much as possible, but you can't be everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of contractors that use correct methods and use products that maybe aren't sufficient and they have failures. And there's a lot of contractors that don't do stuff properly, but they have a good product and they get away with it. So they think they're doing it correctly.
Right. So if people want to use your product and learn how to use it, what's the best way to learn about your product and how to get in touch with you to how to use it?
If I was a contractor, I'd first probably reach out to my lumberyard or my supplier who sells waterproofing type products and ask them if they carry our product, Protector Wrap's products. If not, there may be other products that work just as well. But we would like to know, that if they have interest in Protector Wrap, I would probably go to our website, www.protectorwrap.com. We make over 50 different SKUs of product, and it can be overwhelming, but there's a lot of SKUs because there's different types of adhesives on those products.
Right.
They all do the same thing. It's hard to do if somebody's kind of stumbling on it and they want to have product that afternoon to really get them educated, to be
Right.
honest with you. But it happens.
Okay. So they can call you for that. So, I mean, I appreciate you being here because I think it is an issue, especially, to do it right and do it right the first time, because let's admit there's significant consequences if it fails, right? It's not good.
Waterproofing is the most litigated in the construction industry and per dollar amount, and largely because it's typically on commercial projects. But 4 or 5 years ago, it was over $10 billion worth of litigation
That's
in
insane.
waterproofing.
So
It's
make sure you do it
crazy.
right so you don't get sued, obviously, right?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you being here. And if you're a contractor listening to this, definitely take note and make sure that your team knows how to apply the products well so everybody wins, right?
Absolutely. You can go to our website, and then on the header board, you can see Find Your Sales Team. And then it'll be a map of North America. And you can click on where you want to buy product, and it'll show you who your sales team is. It'll show the regional manager. It'll show the independent sales reps, and you can reach out to them. We don't sell products direct. Everything is through distribution.
Contributors, cool. Okay, thanks, Mitch. I appreciate you being here.
No problem, Paul. Thank you for having me.